Hey, budding lawyers, welcome to the podcast. Today we have with us Miss Riddhi Munoz. Hi, Riddhi.
Hi, Prasanna.
Okay, so Riddhi is not an advocate or a lawyer yet. She is still studying in college and she's studying in her fourth year of her LLB course at Amity University. We usually have practicing lawyers, as you all know, the regular listeners, as guests, where they share their experience, knowledge, and talk about many other things from the legal career. Okay. But today we have a law student. But why is she here? She's here because she's working as a paralegal in a district and sessions court in Raigad, Maharashtra. Okay. And she is here to talk about it and share her experience working there. So Riddhi, let's first start like from who are these paralegals and what work do paralegals do? And how is it different from an internship?
Absolutely. So, to explain it to you in the easiest way, paralegals are basically that bridge that will connect to the legal system. Basically, we as paralegals, we are the connection or we are the bridge between the legal system and the layman. Because there is a lot of population that does not really understand law, that does not really connect to law. So we as paralegals make their lives easier. Basically, in the easiest way, maybe we can call ourselves legal Santa Claus. So
Hmm.
yeah, to term it that way. And this term as paralegal actually got introduced with this whole concept of paramedical that all of us could have been, we've been listening to it in this whole COVID era, that what exactly are these paramedical volunteers? They're not really medical professionals, but they have basic knowledge about medicine. Similarly, paralegal volunteers are not someone who has full-fledged knowledge of law. Yet, we, of course, in future we can have that knowledge, but at this moment we don't really have full-fledged knowledge of law. But we are somebody who's studying law, somebody who has knowledge about some XYZ sector, and then we discuss and we try and impart that knowledge to somebody who's unaware of it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that is general idea about what paralegal volunteer is. And apart from that, if you ask me what kind of work as paralegal we do, then it can be anything. It can literally be anything. It can be drafting petitions, it can be assisting judges, it can be working under lok adalats, it can be going to the rural areas near to us, near in our jurisdiction, and giving knowledge to the common people. Knowledge in the sense, it can be about what exactly is, FIR, or maybe what is the 712 extract, or a very basic thought that, are you really allowed to enter a police station? These are very, very common questions, yet people are very scared and, scared to know about it, and even just it's just beyond their imagination. So that's just the general work that we do. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not necessary that you like paralegals have to work in courts only, right?
No, no, absolutely not. Of course, I mean, yes, our in the wider spectrum, if you call it, it has to be a work that has to be related to the courts.
Hmm.
So, but not necessarily that we have to sit in the court 24/7 and work.
Hmm.
Of course, it is some or the other way related to the judiciary. It can be anything, and the concept varies from city to city, state to state, country to country as
Okay. Okay. So can you give some examples? Like, do you know about some other countries
well.
where?
Of course. In the US, if you see, there are a lot of paralegals that actually work with the lawyers.
Hmm.
So, and I mean, you can see a similar kind of pattern in India as well. There are a lot of high profile advocates that have paralegals under them, but they don't really name them as paralegals. It can be somebody who's, for example, there's a person who is very, very renowned in the field of media. So it can be that person can be a journalist, or that person can be a very, very well writer. That person is also working with this XYZ advocate.
Hmm.
Yet, in what senses is this person working? Discussing about the availability, accessibility of media in the field of law. You're
Okay.
getting it?
Uh-huh.
Yes. So now we don't really name them as paralegals in India.
Hmm. Hmm.
but that person is also acting as a bridge.
Right.
So in the similar concepts in outside India, there is a specific term to it. In India, this specific term as paralegal is only associated with the courts.
So, as you said, this was a good example of a journalism graduate. But how will you differentiate apart from that? If one is a law graduate and still working as a paralegal with a lawyer, then how will you differentiate between an intern and a paralegal?
Of course. Now, what happens is an intern or doing an internship. Now, I'm from a law school. What happens is in our summer breaks we have to go for internships. I have worked under advocates who had his specialization in the National Company Law Tribunal, that's NCLT, or I've worked under NGOs that are specifically working for women's rights, or somebody who's working only for the marginalized sector. That can be the old age people or the children or women or anybody. Now what happens is when you're doing this conventional internship, what happens is we only and only study and focus under one aspect of law, maybe one aspect of law or maybe one aspect of society. For example, if you as a lawyer are doing an internship, you're studying law and you're doing an internship under a family court advocate, in the sense that advocate's specialization is into divorce. What happens is that that advocate will only and only give you exposure about family law.
Right.
But as a paralegal, on the contrary, what happens is that you get an exposure of everything. So every day you will have some of the other new challenge, some new experience. So that's just the beauty of it. So basically, this is to put it in a nutshell, ki this is an unconventional way of internship where you get to learn every day some of the other new you're learning and you're imparting knowledge. So that's it just goes on.
Yeah. So we can say that in India, there is no such differentiation between a paralegal and a intern.
Unfortunately not. Why I say unfortunately not is because the concept of paralegal is not yet, available in the minds of people. The concept of paramedical altogether started getting fixed in somebody's mind because of this COVID. Not the majority of the people around us in our vicinity were actually aware of this concept of paramedical. And that is when I say that this whole concept of paralegal actually started with this concept of paramedical. So it will take some time, but I see a hope because there are a lot of people who have started, understanding this concept and started working at the grassroots level.
Like you. So one of
Yeah.
okay. So just take us through your one of the day of the week of your like work life. How does it start? What work do you do?
Very casual, very, very easy day, very easy day. You just go to the court, you report, and then probably that day you'll be realizing, okay, for example, there's some event taking place in a nearby village. So you just go to that village, you have a general chat with the people around you. There's one thought that you should always chat and talk with them in the language that they are comfortable, because we all come from a privileged sector. So what happens is, with this privilege we have varied knowledge of different languages. With that, what happens is somebody else who's not comfortable in that language will never open up with me. So knowing that local language, so since I'm in this area of Maharashtra, so I happen to know Marathi. What happens is that then we just go around, talk to them in the language that they are comfortable in, maybe just discuss some matter with them, and then they realize, okay, something like this is happening. That is when they start discussing some things with us. Then we try and give some solution to them, or we take them to the police station. We make it a point that FIR file ho rahi hai, register ho raha hai ki nahi ho raha hai. So we just try working on that. At the same time, there can be some, every day there is a new task. So, and it is not a compulsory job. Since it's a volunteering, what happens is, today I'm going, tomorrow maybe I have some function, some family function, or maybe I have some college projects, I have my exams. So I need not have to go and, go to the court every day. That's one part. Second, tomorrow, for example, I'm going on the next day. Another task that can be given to me is just drafting a petition. So I'll be sitting in the court itself, typing it down. Now, with this, what happens is, as a law student, I get to learn a lot, because these are some of the practical experiences that you don't really learn in an institution, in an educational institution. So yeah, that's just the very casual, very normal, general day. A lot of times what happens is, when you're visiting these people, you happen to eat with them, you happen to have a cup of tea with them, so just contact bahut बढ़ जाता है.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume that you are living in a city, like at least in the city part of the
Yeah.
district. And
Yes.
from the work you are saying, do you go somewhere in a village? As you said, I think you go in a village, right? So
Yes.
is it in the Raigad district only?
Exactly. Yes. So whichever court you're working in, under that jurisdiction itself, whatever villages are coming. Now here we have more than 20 to 30 villages. In fact, more than that. So, and the village can be it can be 15 minutes away from your house itself. You're staying in a city, but then 15 minutes ke distance pe there is a village. So you happen to visit them, depending upon the work.
Yeah, but in your jurisdiction there are, but in some other jurisdiction, for example, in Mumbai, if you go in that, like what people call South Bombay, there you won't.
Yes.
So the work profile or the job description will differ there,
Of
right?
course, yes, it does differ. But believe it or not, even if we are staying in the city, there is a majority of the population that lives in this oblivious state, that they are not aware of things.
Yeah,
They are
yeah, that's
staying
true.
in the
That's
city.
true.
They will say that they are staying in South Bombay, but do
Hmm.
they really know about law? The answer is no. The structure of your work will definitely get evolved, but it will be similar only. It's just that maybe over here you're talking in Marathi, over there you might be talking in English, but you will have to explain the same basic thing to that person as well.
No, and one point which came to my mind is not necessary that you have to talk in English. You will have to talk in
Correct.
Marathi or Hindi also, because in South Bombay also there are slums, right?
Absolutely, exactly.
So you have to deal with such people most of the time.
Yeah. It can be as easy as, even discussing the same issues with your building ka watchman, or maybe the house help that is coming to your own house. That it can be as easy as that.
Yeah, right. So just tell us how the story of you getting started into that. How did it all start? From where did you come to?
Oh,
Did you know about paralegals before?
honestly speaking, I didn't.
Hmm.
So it all happened that I happened to visit the district court. That's just 5 to 7 minutes away from my house, and I went there for basically discussing about one of my college events, one of my law school's event. So I happened to meet the district judge one over there. I happened to discuss with him. We shared quite a lot of ideas. In my second visit, what happened was, I started giving him some ideas, some revolutionary ideas that I actually wanted that to be implemented in my vicinity. That is when he was like, why don't we introduce her to this concept of paralegal? Because we want people like these to be a part of it. That is when this whole concept. So I asked him, what is this concept of paralegal? How do what is it? That is when he started telling me that, okay, this is the kind of work that you're supposed to do. And I was like, yeah, I like this. And I should connect to it, and I'll have a tag, paralegal hu main. So yeah, so that is how it all started. A
Yeah.
very funny story, short story, but yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. And that tag would kind of help you in college right now, because people
Oh yeah,
who
yeah,
don't
yeah, it
know
does.
about paralegal, you will be
Absolutely,
like, wow,
absolutely.
she's paralegal, oh, what is she doing, like where is she
Yes,
working
yes,
and
yes,
all?
yes. It is not only in the school level, but actually it is also helping me a lot at my professional level as well. The unfortunate part is that people are not actually aware of it. So
Hmm.
when people try and listen to these new concepts, people are actually very much fascinated by it, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is such a nice thing to do." And now with this new generation, the generation, what is this new generation called? The alpha generation. This
Hmm.
is the alpha generation,
Or
the
the
the one that
millennials,
is now.
right?
No, we are the
Oh,
millennials. Actually, we
okay,
are the
after the
millennials.
millennials to alpha, okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. So
Huh?
this is the alpha generation.
Hmm.
And this alpha generation, they are actually so keen in working at the grassroots level.
Hmm.
So this it's just happy when you talk to them, and they have so many ideas to share, so many, they're just always with this giving hands, that they are like, we also want to help. So this way it's you start building a community. When you start talking to people about the kind of work that you're doing, you start building a community with that.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Is there a specific eligibility to join as a paralegal in a court?
The only criteria that you should that is mentioned at the moment is that you should be 18 above, and you should have, of course, you should have some of the other basic knowledge about the kind of work that you're doing. If you're a student of law, beautiful, nothing like that. But for example, if you are a student of journalism, you are still accepted as a paralegal volunteer. If you are a person who's retired from his civil services, or if you're a person who's retired from his banking services, you can still be a paralegal volunteer, because you as a person have an expertise in that field, and you can definitely discuss that knowledge with the people in and around you. So that's it. There's no eligibility as such. Everyone is accepted. If you have that interest to serve the society, you've taken a lot from the society, time to give.
Hmm.
So if you have that, that thought in your mind, courts are always welcoming.
Hmm. This is the only kind of work profile which I've heard after, getting elected as a MP or MLA, which is, just two criteria where we have. Here it is only one,
Absolutely.
the age criteria.
Correct.
Okay, so apart from district and sessions court, are there any other courts also, like forums, tribunals, boards, etc., which have,
Of course.
yeah, so which keep such paralegals?
Correct, correct, correct. There are not majorly in India, as I said. The unfortunate part is that, the concept of paralegal is not that introduced well. It is still on the verge of, people are trying to promote it. So in India, there is no much of an opening. Of course, you as a paralegal can work under any of these sectors. You can be a paralegal volunteer to a judge. You can be a paralegal volunteer to a supreme under the Supreme Court. It is available outside India, as I mentioned earlier. Outside India, under any of these sectors, a paralegal volunteer is allowed to work. So at the local level, at the state level, at the city level, at the union level, at all levels, it is allowed. In India, the concept is very new. It is, धीरे धीरे चल रहा है. So eventually, of course, in under all sectors, it is allowed. And as I mentioned, what happens is sometimes you're working as a paralegal, but you don't name yourself like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like that. Hmm.
Okay. Now, this one question which would be, in everyone's mind till now, like, do paralegals get paid for their work? Or is it like most of the
Yeah,
internships?
yeah, yeah. They do. They do. There's a very basic remuneration that the government provides. The sole reason for providing it is because you should be acknowledged for the kind of work that you're doing. So with that, there is a basic remuneration on the daily basis. It is given on the daily basis. The kind of job that you do. Of course, you also get a certificate for the job that you're doing. So it is approved. It is valid. So what happens is that you're a paralegal volunteer. You're working for 12 hours in this day, or maybe 8 hours. You're doing that. You get a certificate for that, and you get a remuneration for the job that you did for that particular day. and that varies from district to district.
Okay. Okay. So is it like not necessary to quote the numbers, but is it sufficient to, for example, if a law student is working, sufficient to cover his expenses with regards to commuting, or
Yes,
it's
yes, yes,
that at least
yes.
that. Mhm.
100%. For a law student, it is a beautiful way to get your
Yeah.
pocket equivalent to your pocket money you're
Hmm.
getting. The basic money, of course. If you have exorbitant ways of spending your money, then maybe this is not the place for you. But of course, your basic expenses are covered
No,
with
obviously,
this.
and for law students, it's like I think nothing like it, because you are getting to learn a lot,
Absolutely.
and for that you are getting paid. So it's nothing like it. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. 100%. Every day you get to learn so many new stories. You get to hear so many new stories. And the beautiful part is you're working at the grassroots level, the real platform where you're learning
Mm-hmm.
law. This is the place where you learn real law. And that is where if you're learning at it, you're experiencing it daily and you're earning something out of it. Of course, it is not too much of an amount, but earning that gives you a self of independence that, okay, I have the ability to do this kind of work and I have the ability to earn something out of it.
And also, if you are earning even little bit, you take the work more seriously.
Exactly. Exactly. That is the that is the kind of mentality that we are
Mm.
all grown up with. You start earning, even if it's a 1 rupee coin that you're earning every day, but you will realize that, okay, this is the kind of efforts that I have to put in to get
Yeah.
that much money. And then you try and give your 100%. Maybe the next day you'll be giving your 200%. So that's just the beauty of it.
Okay, so as you said, so paralegals work inside the court also, and most of the time it's like it depends on the task. So you also go outside, you meet
Correct.
people, a lot of things. But I guess you have spent sufficient amount of time inside the courts. So can you just give an idea about how the courts operate in India, or whichever court you have worked in, and what are the common problems you have seen after working for few months there?
So I'm going to give you a very short yet very much understandable answer to this. So to everybody who's listening to this, the only answer for this question can be, it definitely does not work the way you're seeing it in the movies. The courts the courts do not work like that. It's a very 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 serious job. It's a very serious atmosphere over there. You can't just run around, or maybe you can just you're just randomly walking and you're singing songs. You cannot do that. You're entering into the courtroom, you have to behave in a certain manner. Even if you're a common man who's just going to listen, still you have to behave in a certain manner. And it is tensed. The whole day is tense because everybody is there in that area with some of the other problem. It can be as small as somebody who has lost his cycle, or it can be as brutal as a rape. So it can be anything, and you just need to respect that situation and be in that atmosphere. And also that thing gives you a sense of responsibility, or a sense of sensitiveness towards the society, that uh, this is the serious job. You have to put in your 100%. So yeah.
Huh. You did answer this one. Okay. What common problems have you seen courts face?
Yeah, now common problems that the court is actually facing is that people have lack of knowledge of law. Now, of course, we don't expect, as common people, you're not expected to
Hmm.
learn law in what sense is that you should be aware of the Indian Penal Code or about the Civil Procedure Code. No, 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 nothing like that. But you should know the basic. You should understand the terminologies. You should understand, if you're entering into a police station, the kind of work that is done into that. Or maybe if you have a land, so what are the rights associated with that land? And maybe today or tomorrow you pass away, then what happens with the land that you're owning? Who is the owner of that land then? So these are very, very common things. And what happens is, believe it or not, majority of India, be it at your end, be it at my end, lives under the rural mindset.
Hmm.
And with that, the very, very and most important problem that courts have been observing, courts, advocates, judges, anybody, the only problem is there is a lack of knowledge. So,
So what do you think? How?
so when we say we have plethora of cases
Hmm.
around us, why is it? Because people are not understanding law, or maybe even if they are, they're just finding ways to how to get away with it. So when you're finding ways to get away with it, you will ultimately break laws. If not this, maybe some other one.
Yeah. And also the volume is such that for example, I I have another podcast too where I discuss social issues and stuff. So its name is Right Views. So we discuss a lot of things regarding the judicial system also. So one major reform the system needs, because this system is something which is linked to almost everything, every sector. Okay, and if this system is fixed, then a lot of systems like this, it will speed up. Wherever you go, there is some form of litigation involved, and when it comes here, it keeps on dragging. There is to kind of
Right.
explain it in a very layman's term. Um, so one thing which comes to my mind is, which regular listeners would know that I've talked about it a lot, is use of technology. Okay, and especially legal technology is something which I started in India. There are many startups working. So how do you see it? Like, do you think technology can help, and how it can help, where as you have worked in courts and all?
Hmm. Technology can, of
Hmm.
course, help, because what is happening is, as I said, this
Hmm.
generation alpha, everyone, I mean, if I see my niece, my nephew, they're so young, yet they can operate mobile phones, tabs, laptops. Just, by the time you remember the password of it, they've already opened the laptop, they've started working on it, maybe they've logged into Zoom, or, trying to attend their lectures. So now with this new generation, now with this, actually everyone has started, the kind of atmosphere, or the kind of, society that we are
Hmm.
living into, everyone is so dependent on these technologies. It can be, usage of mobile phones, or laptops, or anything. And the good thing is that all of us have started understanding and learning things out of these technologies. So this is actually working as a very good medium in what sense is that now, simply by just sending a voice note, or simply by just, with this voice assistance, or maybe just by typing it down, people are actually starting to read about things. You're just, for example, you're just, listening to some of the other socio-political issues
Hmm.
that are happening. With this new these socio-political issues that are happening in and around us, what happens is that, uh, for example, in the last 2 months, there have been many such issues that have taken place. People just listen to these words, they make sure that they just, you know speak those keywords, and try and find out some news about it. Once they start reading about these news, they start to learn some or the other kind of law, that, okay, for example, there's something related to environment. Okay, something like this is happening, what is this? Then they get to know, okay, there is something called as environmental law. Or they are reading about something related to labors, and they're like, okay, some new policy is coming, what is this? Then they get to know that, okay, something like this is related with labor laws. So this way, we have, this generation alpha has started, giving a lot of knowledge to generation Z, generation ABC, all the other generations. So if you see, we are actually teaching our grandparents that, maybe you can just speak and everything is there. Just click this button. So actually, with this technology, we can learn a lot. It's just that, now we all should start promoting people to use technology in its right form.
But I think most of the stakeholders in this field lack in the usage of technology, especially the judges, lawyers. Since you are working with a judge, have you experienced that?
Yeah, actually, some of them, yes, I can relate to that. That stakeholders are lacking, but not much. Now, again, since COVID was actually a beautiful time to explore
Hmm.
ourselves. So that is when we were in the lockdown phase, that is when we realized, okay, we yet even if we are far, with this one video call, we can connect to the other person. And that itself is, that way, or maybe the court proceedings that started at the online method. It never used to. Earlier to this, it never happened like that. Now, with this whole new concept, they realized that, okay, something like this can happen. So, of course, it is taking a little bit of time, but maybe, people like you and me, we can definitely start teaching people around us that, we can give you some knowledge that will be beneficial to you, and maybe some method via which you can learn something new.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it is definitely not an overnight process. It will take time, but I, I, I can relate to it. Yet at the same time, I can see some positive change as well. So, yeah, that's
Okay,
something.
let's hope for the best.
Absolutely.
So I was just going through your profile and I saw that you have worked in the journalism sector too. So, and then you shifted to law. Any specific reason for that?
No specific reason as such. I have always been, interested in writing and interviewing people, and I really like that. Even I remember, I mean, just a small incident that I wanted to share. Once my work is done, what I used to do is, while returning in the evening, I used to, generally meet some kids
Hmm.
in the train, and I had some time that then. So क्या करना है क्या करना है, so what I used to do is, actually I used to talk to them, just in general, maybe discuss about their lives, maybe something that they want to do in their future, or maybe the things that they are doing, some ways of earning, or maybe how, in what ways are they, studying. So I used to make it a point that I write down these things. I click a picture with them, and then I used to post it on my social media. So just started doing that because I wanted to keep this passion of my, journalism
Hmm.
alive. So I kept doing that, and that just, that just makes me happy. So, and no specific reason as such, because I have always been, interested in knowing about these socio political issues. I used to do that when I was in that sector. Then I realized that maybe I am doing these things. Why should, like, I should learn law. That is why I came over here. And maybe in future, I might, start with my, revive my
Hmm.
old career again. So,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, anything can happen.
correct.
Okay, so what are your plans for the future after completing LLB?
Um, Actually, even before completing LLB, since I'm in my fourth year, what I've done is I have already started up with my own venture. So it is actually under the name of
Hmm.
Ochre India. Ochre, that symbolizes the color ochre and the beauty of that color. And what I have been doing is that uh, eventually my focus is on paralegal work as well. And at the moment, what we have done is we've started up with our own educational event company that is basically focusing on, collaborating and tying up with universities where we are organizing educational events. So it can be, organizing moot courts, it can be discussing real life situations in the courtrooms, or it can be seminars or conferences or anything like that. So we've already started up with that, and I have my one of my upcoming international conferences in the month of April.
Great.
And yeah, so just the reason to start this is because, the earlier you start, that is when you realize that, you can do a lot of things. And this is the time when, I'm in my fourth year. I just have one more year, and post that, once my degree is in my hand, I will literally have nothing. So why don't I start it from now when I actually have the time to do it? So yeah.
Great. Investing your time in something like this while the college is on. Otherwise, we all know what most of the people do. Anyway, I just don't want to get into that.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I mean, I may be very like unpopular for this, but I like to be involved in some other thing every time. Like even on the weekends,
Absolutely.
because as I told you, Budding Lawyers is there, and I have another podcast. This is done on weekends, Saturday, Sundays, and after like evenings, late evenings. And apart from this, I have a full-time job. So
Correct.
and I like that. I don't know how. Okay, anyway, just coming to the conversation again. Over to our last question. Please share an incident from your career which is very, very memorable to you.
Honestly speaking, every day has been very memorable. So every day is, something new that you're learning. But I remember the time when, I had my training. So there's a very basic training that every paralegal volunteer should take. The reason being that, you get to learn, okay, the kind of, you're basically your job profile. So to know that, what happened was I was sitting in this room, in this hall where it's me, it's maybe a 20, 21-year-old person. At the same time, next to me, there's a 60-year-old. पीछे कोई एक 52-year-old lady बैठी है. And I was like, that's strange. First I thought, maybe these are the people who are the speakers and they're going to, discuss and maybe talk about the kind of work that we are supposed to do. Later I realized that, these are my colleagues and they are, there is, as I mentioned, that there is no age limit, there is no eligibility. And that itself, shows that, be it of any age group, if you have the interest to give to the society, you can do it at any time. So that's just the beauty, and that's actually very memorable. That was the time when I realized that, the kind of work that I'm doing, that actually gives a lot. And yeah, that is just an incident that I wanted to share.
A similar incident, even I and I guess many of us have, is while studying law. So I don't know about like Amity or so in my class also.
No, that has happened in Amity as well, actually.
Yeah. So there were one person was retired from his service, and then he was studying law, and he was my junior. He was in his first year.
Oh my God.
Okay, and I was in the third year. So yeah, so in especially law students and can absolutely relate to it.
Correct.
Okay, that was a wonderful conversation. Thanks, Siddhi, for that.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thanks a lot.
And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you like this episode, then you must also check out our other episodes available here and follow us here so that you don't miss out a new episode. Thank you.